Okay, so next our next our guest speaker must be yes yeah, Mr. Henry Ong. He is the president of International Scholastic Trust (IST) and Singapore International Mathematical Contest Center Singapore. Okay, so Mr. Henry is going to present the topic. The topic is joining academic competitions and assessment to identify, develop, and nurture talent for national development. Okay, so right now, please welcome Mr. Henry Ong. Okay, I'm so sorry if I cannot pronounce your name correctly. Okay, so um, yes, I think this is lunch time for all of you, but you give up your lunch time for joining our course, our conference. So thank you very much for guest speaker and all participants to be patient with the long the journey our journey. Okay, so uh, right now all the participants or guest speakers and excellencies or ladies and gentlemen, so please join me in welcoming Mr. Henry Ong, the president of International Scholastic Trust (IST), to present the topic joining academic competition in assessment to identify, develop, and nurture talent for national development. Okay, thank you. Please welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good morning, Your Excellencies, the chair of CICME and various organizers of this competition, of this conference. Thank you for having me. Let me share my slides with you. So here goes. Okay. Okay, good. You can see my slide. So good. I'm glad to know that I'm the last stop for all of you before lunch. Okay, so we'll try and make this interesting and beneficial for all of you. More about myself. So basically, I'm also the co-chair of the Cambodian Mathematical Society, thanks to the invitation by Dr. Chan Roth. And I have been in the academic competitions and assessment space for over 15 years. I've created over 10 international academic competitions and assessments. I'll share that with you shortly. And we have organized competitions for over 500,000 students. And so I've been a practitioner of these competitions, and I have headed back to school at the tender age of 61, back to the University of Illinois to be a EDD candidate, as I spend a little bit more time to do research, and hopefully we'll get more guidance from Professor Gerardo. So he had a very good message just now, and basically a lot of the work that I've been doing at UI in terms of mixed methods or the various methods of research. So SIMCC is a leading global educational social enterprise, and we currently now manage 26 academic competitions in the domains of mathematics, English, science, and informatics, with a 15-year history. And currently, as of 2021, we're expected to run about 200,000 tests for students across 35 countries. Okay, and we are our systems are quite technical. So basically, we can run online competitions as well as paper-based competitions in all the countries that we operate in. And the very nice thing about what we do is that we have a very good member development portal where students, parents, and teachers can get detailed performance reports, and teachers can get their formative and summative assessment data to help guide teachers in their teaching. So Scholastic Trust Singapore is a global nonprofit foundation, and SIMCC is a major donor, along with donors from the public, to help promote academic competitions and assessments. So I will share with you the work that is done by both organizations to benefit teachers. So we have over 240 teachers here this morning, as well as professors. And I hope to reach out to all of you to extend our services to help even more students and teachers in many more countries. So we have currently now, we've just added 8 more volunteer board advisors. So they are mainly professionals as well as professors from various countries. And our board plays a very important role in guiding us in terms of the work that we do in the domains that we're in. So we basically seek out experts in the domains that we operate in, so mainly English, math, science, and informatics. And they also guide us in terms of the network that we have. So I will share with you a little bit more of the network that we have, that beyond the 35 countries, we also have organizations that we manage and support. So the academic competitions that we run, we basically run them at 2 levels. First, we run them at the local level. So in the 35 countries that we operate, so the competitions that you see, SESMO, our math competition, SINGA is also a Singapore math competition, the American Maths Olympiad, Benda Science, DOCA, Design Thinking, Robotics and Computational Thinking, as well as our partner competitions from the middle schools, Math Olympiad for elementary and middle schools in New York, ICAS assessments in Australia, Hippo English Language Olympiad from the UK. Then at the second level, after we run the competitions locally in these 35 countries and identify the talent, the top 40%, then these talent are then invited for a global competition that is held in one location. So SINGA is our first introduction because of the COVID pandemic this year. We ran CMOC and STEAM Ahead online. So with our experience in running a global online competition, we decided to offer next year the Singapore Math Global Finals online. Okay, so then we run these global competitions where students can be recognized as the champions in the various categories of subjects that we run. Okay, so breaking down across the 4 domains of math, science, digital technologies, and English, those are the competitions, the names of the competitions that we run. And mostly our competitions operate from easy to hard, so that we bring the students that we work with on a learning journey of where they start in at a easy level and progressively move up to more and more difficult competitions, so that we are able to stretch them, okay, to let them acquire skills. And in the process, with the countries and the various ministries of education that we work with, we also get them recognition. And then finally, competitions is just one element of the success that we hope to give the students. And I will be sharing with you a lot more of the work that we do to ensure that our students acquire even more success. So what do we offer? So SIMCC basically offers learning resources in the form of books that we publish from our competitions of past year contest questions with full solutions. We also have our learning management system that students can sign on to practice. Okay, we support our partners with marketing materials to help them promote our competitions to the schools and students. We also have franchise training materials that our partners can tap on to accelerate the learning of their students for the competitions. And then our contest papers are available currently in 6 languages. So they are available obviously in English, in simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, in Russian, in Indonesian, in Malay, in currently soon we'll be having them in Arabic, Khmer, and hopefully very soon one of our partners is here in the meeting in Burmese as well. So our partners are welcome to translate our papers. We give them time to translate the papers so that their students are able to compete using local language as well. So for our international competitions, basically we offer them country ranking as well as global ranking. Then we issue certificates and medals to the students. We do marking of all the contest papers online. They basically submit scanned copies of the answer sheets, so we are able to do all the marking in less than a week. And then students and teachers and schools can get results for the competitions that they've just taken through our member development portal. So it's very easily accessible to them. Not too much work for our schools and our partners in having to deliver information to them. And then finally, these are excellent pathways for students to achieve scholastic credentials for their higher education. So just to share with you, CMOC is one of the 7 global competitions that we run. So we run our global competitions quite differently. One is that there's a very strong emphasis not only on the individual. So the individual is able to take their contest paper in the case of CMOC, the Math Olympiad contest at their own grade level. So our papers are from grade 1 to 12, okay? And then we build in a very interesting team component so that we overcome one of the major difficulties and challenges in academic competitions where you have what I call the kingmakers effect. So the kingmakers effect basically is that, you know, if you are strong in mathematics, in most cases, whenever you join a math competition, you'll always win. And then you will have more than 50% of the students who end up being losers. And then, you know, of course, the disadvantage of being a loser is that they get discouraged. So what we have done in our global competitions, we've introduced team-based competitions as well, in addition to individual, so that students who join are able to meet up with students from other countries. So our teams are mixed from different countries, okay? So they are from different levels in a division, and then they get a chance to mingle and work with talent from across the world, and then they can learn and collaborate with students from different countries. So then many of them pick up different ideas on how to approach a particular topic, for example, okay? So at CMOC, we team them into teams of 3 when they meet physically. This year, because of COVID, we were forced to run a CMOC from a physical contact competition to an online competition. So then this year we increased members to 9 per team, and it ran very, very well because they're able to learn so much and interact with friends from other countries, okay? And then with this kind of format, basically students get a chance to work with different teams and win awards. So they get a chance to step on the podium with their team, okay? So that is very, very encouraging. So about 2 years ago in KL last year, we started a new form of competition where we incorporated STEM and STEAM, okay? So in our STEAM Ahead competition, we basically have a combination of 3 subjects: mathematics, science, and informatics. So in this one competition, we are able to have students compete individually as well as in a team and win a galore of awards in 12 different categories. So they, for example, one of the most prestigious award is to have a student win an individual goal in math, science, and informatics, and then we confer them the Triple Gold Award, which is the President's Award for Excellence in the STEAM category. So the students are very, very excited and working in team teams allow them to really acquire new skill sets that they would not get from a traditional academic competition. So the new competition we're introducing next year as a result of our challenges that we face this year with COVID. So this year with COVID in the academic competitions field, many competitions had to be cancelled because of COVID. It is a real challenge trying to run online competitions. And we have basically spent the last 10 months refining our competition systems. So now we are ready to offer Singapore Math as a global assessment to all countries in the world. So as you know, Singapore, back in the 1980s, early 1980s, was one of the worst countries in math on the global scale. Okay, and then towards the end of the 1980s, the Ministry of Education in Singapore devised some new teaching methods. Okay, so basically the model approach. And by the early 1990s, Singapore students emerged in the PISA rankings as the top students in science and mathematics. And so with our Singapore Math global assessments that we run first, we're hoping to share the success of Singapore Math and what we have learned with teachers from all around the world. Okay, so after this global assessment that we run in February, we'll be offering the Singapore Math Global Finals to teachers from all around the world to determine who are the top mathematics heroes from the countries globally. So we work with partners and schools. So here we are basically appealing to all of you to join us and look at the advantages of academic competitions and assessments and organize them in your school and or your region. You will be collecting some fees to help defer the costs of running these competitions. We will do the work in terms of all you need to do is run the contest, scan the answer entry sheets back to us here in Singapore, and we'll do the rest. Okay. Once we have the results, we'll send them to you. You check to make sure everything is okay, and then we'll post it on our website. And all you need to do is to inform your students and teachers that they can go to our portal, the member development portal, to download their results. Then you conduct award ceremonies for your students, get the media to cover the success of your students in this competition, and then you can invite them for our global competitions that I just described earlier. So we've developed a very nice turnkey operation for teachers and schools and universities to join us. And so this is a call out to all of you here. So all the 240 educators here that I see this morning, I think it's gone up to many more participants this morning to join SIMCC to help more teachers and students globally. So not only, so we run academic competitions and assessments very well. We have many competitions that we are offering in various domains, but that's not all the work that SIMCC and STS does. Okay, so if you understand the reason why students join competitions, they're looking to excel. They're looking to go on to universities. And these are some of the brightest talents that we have in each of our countries. So what SIMCC and STS has done is that we have invested our non-profit money to set up scholarships and funds to help all the participants that join us in our competition. So the first thing we have done is that we set up the International Junior Honor Society, which is the world's first honor society for students from grades 2 and up. And it is also probably the only society that offers free membership to all the students that we induct into the honor society. So you can imagine. So these are some of the best students from around the world. It was started in 2017, and as of date, we have about 4,000 students in the Honor Society. And so about 3 years ago, we started the Young Achievers Leadership Academy, because I believe that we needed to give all these top students some leadership skills, train them how they can get into better schools, how they can win scholarships, and how they can be leaders who give back to their societies. So this year, we announced that we are offering 2 full scholarships to my alma mater, Southern Illinois University, where they can do a 4-year STEM-related program. And SIU has graciously also worked with us to offer more than 30 SIU international tuition grants for more international students to go to Carbondale, Illinois for their university study. Incidentally, I am a beneficiary of Southern Illinois University's tuition grant, which I received more than 34 years ago, back in the 1980s when I did my bachelor's degree there. So the other thing that we have created is that in honor of Professor Buckminster Fuller, who was a full professor of architecture at the Southern Illinois University and a world philosopher who shares the mindset that leaders give, givers get. So I have named our internship for under him, so that we can train even more leaders who will take on social equity initiatives to do good for all the students and teachers around the world. So as of this month, we have 8 Bucky interns with us, and they have done a marvelous job. And they are the ones who basically helped us to run our 3rd YALA, the Young Achievers Leadership Academy conference over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday that just passed. And we have formed a Student Leadership Council, and now they are looking at expanding and including even more IJHS members to help many people in their local and global committees to uplift lives through education. So we're calling out to educators to join us so that you can mentor even more IJHS members. So the next thing that we have is Ms. Fu Pao Chu, Singapore educator, teacher, head of department, vice principal, principal with over 30 years of experience, has headed the STS Teachers Institute for the last 3 years. And we are now starting to run even more workshops and provide certifications for teachers to upgrade themselves. So we're very happy to share our service with this conference so that we can together give more teachers professional development opportunities. So the call out at this conference that we are offering now is that for all the teachers, I think right now we have over 260 of you who have joined the first CICME, we welcome you to join our academic competitions and assessments. And to make it very easy for you, please sign up at our MDP portal. You can use the code CICME 2020. And what we are offering to all the teachers who are here is that we offer you to send your class of up to 60 students to join the first Singapore Math Global Assessments from your home country. So it will be done online between February 1st and February 26 for free. Okay, it's worth over 1,200 US, and that will allow you to measure your students' capability in mathematics, as well as get very important big data to help you inform your teaching. So you can contact me at my contact details on this slide. Okay, so I'll be delighted to hear from you and share with you our expertise and capability in helping students take on the advantages of academic competitions and assessments. So these are the competitions that help you identify talent and many research studies, including mine that I'm doing now, reinforce the fact that these types of competitions help to identify, develop and nurture talent for the national development of each of our countries. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you to develop even more academic heroes and facilitate growth mindsets so that all these young leaders can move on in our societies to contribute to our national development. So thank you so much for giving me the space at CICME 2020 to share with so many educators from around the world in terms of the work that we do and how we can collaborate together to make our world a much better place. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Henry. So, yeah, personally, I think, yeah, this topic is very useful for Cambodian teachers, like, as well as the Ministry of Education has been implementing like competitions in our school that we have sent the Cambodian students to join a competition abroad. Well, yes, like the Olympiad exam for, yeah, so that is kind of a motivation that encourage our students to learn hard to, yeah, to become a good leaders like Singapore that has been producing a lot of leaders, you know, young leaders for the community, and they can share the knowledge to the people in the community and help. So, yep, you know, like Singapore like has produced a lot of young leaders for the countries and the community as well. So this is like a good role model for like Cambodia for other countries in the ASEAN to use these techniques for, yeah, helping to produce a young leader. Okay, so yeah, actually I just, yeah, for me it is interesting that like you got the Mr. Henry like mentioned about like competition that will be held in February, like that maybe 1,000, yeah, $1,200 for a prize for the academic hero. That is like just like a title. It might be interesting that hero is not like just like in the war, but it's like academic hero. That is the perfect person, like a leader, a young leader in the community and in the world as well. Okay, thank you so much for meaningful like a topic that I can share with us in the conference. Okay, so we have some questions waiting for your explanations. Okay, the, so right now I would like to read the first question for Mr. Henry. Okay, so the first question is how we know that our assessment is valid and reliable. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I missed that question. Could you repeat that again, please?
Sorry. So how we know that our assessment.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up on my side.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Okay, now I hear you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. So the first question is how, how do we know that our assessment in the competition is valid and reliable?
Okay.
You get it?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Yes. Thank you.
okay. So one of the things that we have is we collect data by country. So in our competitions, basically what we do is we set a syllabus, and then we have a general syllabus that will be applicable for as many countries as possible. So one of the things that we do is we study our data that we collect by country. So like, for example, many of our competitions, we offer 25 questions, and then we look at the data by country to see where students are having problems in a particular question. And then we get the local educators to take a look at that and then see how we can adjust it for the future years so that the competition becomes a reliable basis of evaluation for students from around the world. So we have big data. We share that with our teachers, so teachers then can use that to inform their teaching. So one of the
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So one of the big things that we're hoping
Okay.
to do, especially for teachers from the developing countries, is they may not have been exposed to how to use this kind of data. So we are now doing a lot of webinars where we inform and train teachers how to use this kind of data.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. So we have some more questions. So right now, the question comes from, from Hein Kong Hian, yes, from Cambodia. So, dear doctor, as you mentioned, Singapore students are in the top of PISA ranking test. What are the strategy to support slow learners?
Okay, so
Okay,
in
can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so in Singapore, by the late 1990s, what we did was that we developed in mathematics and in English, we developed programs to help the slow learners. So at the middle of grade 1, they are evaluated in English and mathematics. And then for those who do not get a good enough score, then we put them into what we call a learning support program. So we have learning support for mathematics, and we have learning support for English, because these are the two very important subjects at the beginning level of primary school, to make sure that they master. Because once they don't master these two subjects well, later on their academic journey, they will start to face problems. So that's what Singapore has done to especially pull out these slow learners into learning support classes, to give them that added emphasis on their foundational topics in English and in mathematics.
Yeah, thank you so much for your explanation. So now we have another question. So from Gonti from Cambodia. Okay, so dear doctor, your presentation is so interesting. So how do you assess the students with their schooling achievements? Thank you.
Okay, so what we do is that when they join one of our 26 competitions in either English, math, science, or informatics, they are evaluated based on our competition. So we don't specifically do a correlation with their schooling achievements. It's an add-on, it's an enrichment over how they perform in schools in an extracurricular activity. So that's how we function. We're not competing directly with the schools, because there's no way that we can look at the individual curriculum of the tens of thousands of schools that we work with that join our academic competitions. So it is more focused. So we do provide a curriculum for the students joining our competition. So they and practice questions as well. So then they can practice on the questions, and usually our focus is on higher order thinking skills. We don't work on giving them mundane, repetitive questions. So they are more higher order thinking skills, more in line with 21st century learning.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so we have one last question from the participant. So the question is like kind of is about education. So the question is how we use assessment in education. The question's from M. Danot. Okay, thank you.
Very good question. That's the one area that SIMCC and STS is focusing on. We know that in many of the developing countries, many of our teachers are now exposed to how to use this valuable big data. So my offer to all the teachers here for the Singapore Math Global Assessment is where we're going to be running the assessment for you. We're going to provide you with the big data, the formative and summative data of your students, so that you can gauge that against where your students are strong and weak in, and that will hopefully guide you on how to inform your teaching methodology or your areas in your teaching that you need to fix so that your students will start to do better. And we are running webinars for teachers on how to equip themselves with all these skills and using the technology that's currently available through the contest systems where your students participate and you can gain more insights to inform your teaching.
Yes, thank you so much, sir, for the explanation. So, yeah, if I'm not wrong, you have mentioned about discouragement when you create the competition in Singapore, right? Or in schools, on school scales, or in national scales. So it might be discouraged to like slow learners, or yes, okay.
So
Isn't it?
basically,
So
basically the competitions that we create are graduated. So we have called the assessments. Any student can join to measure where their learning is. So it's not pitched at the very high level students. We go on a graduating scale so that we can bring in usually average learners and above into our process so that we can encourage them to compete with many other more talented students. Yes.
yeah, thank you so much. So I am curious about this point that you know, before national scale competition, so teachers have to encourage a student in school scale that they have to you know, join the competition, maybe school competitions. So something competition might discourage students in the competition because when they fail, when they cannot do well, they will be upset for the competition. How do you think, like, do you have any good solution for helping like slower students to join or to be successful in the competition?
Okay, so first, that's the reason why we are running our Singapore Math Global Assessments so that it becomes a tool that first even the weaker students can join so that the teacher can use the results, the data to assess where they're having difficulties in. Because for the slower learners, we need to find out where their difficult points are that they need to overcome. So that's the basis of the global assessments, is that it allows an entry point for any student to come in. And then once they have that hurdle or that difficulty that they can overcome and succeed at it, then they'll be more encouraged to come in and take part. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the major problems with academic competitions, especially those that you run nationally or globally, is that you have a kingmaker effect. You know, you're good in math, you'll always win. And that's the reason why we start doing it at the global level. But I would eventually like to bring it down to the local country level, where we also, besides running the individual component, we also run a team component. So that way, when we run a team event, we mix up the students of different ability levels. So a weaker student may be joined with a better student. And then from the better student, because they're working together collaboratively as a team, that stronger student is able to encourage the weaker student to learn. And the best way to learn is to teach, so that stronger student will become a better competitor, because he's able to move down to a lower level to communicate with that weaker student so that he can explain a concept to him more effectively. And then that way together, once, let's say, the team wins, the weaker student realizes that because of his communication with that stronger student, he may be much more encouraged to delve and move on that process. So that's what we're hoping to do in team competitions.
Okay, thank you so much for a flawless explanation. Okay, so now we just have the questions from the participant. So the first question is that from Hong Lai here. So how often are formative and summative assessment used in Singapore?
Okay, so basically in our Singapore schools, we run 4 main assessment tests in the school calendar. So the first one is at the Singapore schools operate, first of all, from January okay, up to third week of November. Okay, we have 4 semesters. So the first semester is from January to almost middle of March. So at the end of the first semester, for grades 4 and above, we will run the first continual assessment 1. We call it CA1. So that's the first test. Then after that, at the end of the second semester, which is around end of April to May, we run the first semester assessment 1. So that's a big test. Okay. Then after that, in the third quarter, the third semester, towards the end of August, we run CA2, Continual Assessment 2. And then at the end of the year, in around October to early November, we run the final test of the year called SA2, Semester Assessment 2. And then usually they group the 4 tests by percentages to come out with an overall score for the year. So that's how we do assessments. And then throughout this whole process, Singapore teachers will use the data that they have collected from their tests to find out, to get their formative and summative data.
Okay, we are grateful to the answer. So right now we got a question from IV Corazon. I'm so sorry. Okay, so the question is, how do you know that you have exhausted all the learning needs of the students? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so basically what we do is that we bring them, as I mentioned, on a learning journey. So earlier, I had one chart that I showed you. There was a bar chart of English, mathematics, informatics, and science. And then I had different competitions put on that scale. So as I mentioned earlier, what we do is that, especially in mathematics, we have 13 competitions, both local and global, that bring the students along a learning journey. So the assessments are the easiest level. So we're able to bring the slow learners into their assessment. And then as they get better and better, they go higher up to take more advanced and challenging competitions. So in a way, the learning never ends. Learning never ends because for each level, there are more challenges to make sure that the learners are always learning. Yep. Okay.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Henry. Okay, so I'm so sorry for the rest of the questions because we have no more time because, yeah, we have only 2 more minutes for finishing the session. So I would like to say thank you so much for Mr. Henry for sharing the insightful presentation to our participants. Okay, so